You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
The views expressed by the individuals during this broadcast are their own opinions, and they may not be the same as those of their group or other organizations they may be involved with.
All medical advice during our broadcast is not a medical opinion and should be checked with your medical physician.
Good evening and welcome to the Pace Radio Show. We're live here at paceradio.net, 420pace.ca, as well as at our social media locations. Good evening, Tamara. How are you doing?
Oh, hanging it out. How about you?
Well, I'm watching the snow fall and the rain fall instead of watching the roots grow. So that's always a good sign.
Yeah, no, the weather's been pretty unprecedented out here as well, and it's really causing some effects on my rheumatoid arthritis and what's going on.
Yeah.
So, headaches and all kinds of lovely things, and it just seems to be, then the virus and having not to be able to take the medications that I need. So it's just been a lot. The last 4 weeks have just been.
Well, yeah, anybody's affected by the weather, it would be under a roller coaster. Like today, we had rain. Tonight through tomorrow, they're calling for 25 centimeters of snow.
Yeah, no, we're just supposed to continue to get rain and moisture, which is not bad for, we need it. I'm not saying that we don't want forest fires, but for anybody with a rheumatoid or immune or inflammatory anything, when you've got that much barometric pressures going like this all the time, it's causing some havoc. And like I said, depending on your medication regime, you could be fine. Some of us aren't so fine. But that's just the way life goes when you live with chronic illness, right?
Exactly. Well, what do you say? Should we bring in our guest?
Yeah, so tonight we'd like to introduce you to Melissa Ellsworth. She's been a longtime patient cannabis activist and advocate from Nova Scotia. Now, Melissa's been working hard for the last 10 years and fighting with WCB because her start of this, we'll ask her to kind of tell the story, but this all kind of rolls back from an injury, a job-related injury that rolled her into where she is today. And yesterday, I believe it was, she had her intake for MAID. So from having a work-related injury to going to having a perfectly normal quality of life to where she is today has been a drastic degeneration in the system. Wow. And so I would like to introduce you to Melissa.
Welcome, Melissa, to the Pace Radio Show. How you doing?
Can't complain.
Yeah. You haven't got the flu, right?
No.
No.
One thing I want to clear, I'm not in a hospital. I'm just in my comfortable bed, just on a heated mattress pad because the weather here has been horrible, and tomorrow's infusion day. And yeah.
So this would be you would be one of those people that we were talking about before we introduced you, suffering from and dealing with the weather changes.
And other things as well, because she's also been detoxing from some of the medications that she's been on too for the last little bit. So the first question, because a lot of people, like we were speaking about before the show, a lot of people don't know who you are or what you're, where you came from and why you're here. So the first question we want to ask you is who you are and how'd you get involved in cannabis?
I was a nurse. I was working in psychiatry. I worked at pretty much everywhere. In 2006, a patient, I ran in to rescue a woman. There was a patient in there that possibly could have killed her. And I went in to get her out. And as I was running her, that got the patient through the chair. And I didn't know it was a chair because it was behind me because I could just hear like a helicopter coming. So I knew something was coming. I knew it wasn't a knife running from the kitchen. I knew that, I was listening. It's funny how your brain can kind of try to differentiate sound so quick. You know what I mean? In those split seconds. But when it hit me, that's when I realized what it was. It was a wooden chair, and the seat part had hit me at the just between the shoulders and the back, and then the top or the back part did, like the part you put your back against, but then
Yeah.
the top part had come down and on top of my head.
Oh.
And I had my glasses on like prior to that, because he was in a therapeutic quiet room for his safety, for other patient safety, due to issues and stuff. And when the next shift came on that morning, the psychiatrist that was on wanted to let him out for a little bit on his own to see how he'd do, but I don't think anybody checked that room before they let him in there, because it was all glass. I remember I was running with her towards the door. All their faces just like dropped. So I knew something was coming, and it was the chair. So I got her out, and I went to emerge. There was a lady there that was there for 5 hours with chest pain, a guy with a 2x4 with a spike through his arm. Like I wasn't going to be seen. So I back to work upstairs, and I just sat in the staff room with the lights down low for a little while. But then towards the end of the shift, like I could really feel like I got that happened around 11:30, and towards the end, as the day went on, I really felt like I got my bell rung. Like I could hear like my bell was rung, because it felt like my teeth were vibrating, and like I just felt and by the time I left, I had a pound headache. So I went home that night, and then the next day was the day that it just, from then on, just everything went sideways. Absolutely.
So you had to deal with WCB, of course, first of all. Right?
Well, it happened at work.
Right. So work-related injury. Right?
But we have to go through now.
Right.
And prior to that, there was, I think we had made the Chronicle Herald 3 times. Our unit, the unit I've been injured on, had made the Chronicle Herald, I think 3 times in 1 week for nurses being assaulted.
Right.
Now,
would they have normally gone, like you mentioned, they didn't check the room. Would they have normally have gone in and made sure that there was nothing in the room that could be used as basically, a weapon?
I wasn't hired on full time. I was casual. So I worked between 7 lane, 6 lane. I worked at the Burnside Jail in the healthcare center, healthcare unit. So, you know what I mean? Like I was getting full-time hours, but they didn't have to pay his benefits, which is what.
Right. Yeah. I know how that works.
Yeah. So that's basically what I was doing. And from a safety perspective, they should have checked that first before they let him in there. Because
but then you weren't being covered by any like extended benefits, which meant that there was no long-term or short-term disability that you were eligible for, right?
No,
because of the way you had to work in casual, so there was no long-term extended benefits for you.
And see, at work we had this number one time, and I don't know if I can say what it is on here, but I still remember what it is to this day. It was called the safe line. So if something happened on the unit or at work, you called it, you left a message. And then the person that I guess dealt with the messages dealt with workers' compensation or whoever they dealt with, their boss, I don't know. But we reported, because I had broken fingers. There was one day I got kicked in the chest, and another LPN got kicked in the chest too, back to back, like within 20 seconds.
Was it all happening at one location?
Yes.
Because you mentioned that you went to different places.
When you're working in healthcare, and it's still like this to this day, there are no repercussions for healthcare workers to do anything about a patient. They can be victims and can't do anything or say anything. It's within their NDA, and that they, whether you're working casual or you're not. If you're working in healthcare, you sign an NDA with the facility that you're working at, and that basically says that if you're injured, you have to do there's other ways of going about it, but you keep law enforcement and any other disciplinary out of it.
Well, the thing with workers' compensation is that it's law. So if you have more than so many employees, you have to be paying into workers' compensation and blah, blah, blah,
Right.
whatever. So
Yeah.
if there's an injury at work, it has to go through workers' compensation. And once you sign the injury form, you're signing away your rights
Yeah.
to everything.
Right.
Everything. For not only
I don't
lawyer too.
I don't know if you can see the message on the screen there, but Leslie says that she's here watching the show.
Hi, Les. Yeah.
Yeah. Now the so as far as dealing with, so you ended up having to leave work, and you as far as your fight with the workers' compensation end of things, is this something obviously that's ongoing, or they just come right out and just denied you and said you're on your own?
Well, this happened in 2006, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it was a while ago. So the case manager I had from comp at the time, even though I was still working, at that point too, I didn't really feel safe at work because this was happening frequently. And we had an orderly who who was assaulted very badly in the elevator at 2 a.m. in the morning by someone that I knew frequently from the Burnside Healthcare Center.
Arlene,
there was a
just
lot
so
of.
you know, Arlene and Bob are here as well.
Hi guys, I told you.
So the thing is too, like you were working towards getting your cannabis medicine taken care of too by WCB, like the coverage covering the medicine itself, and that's kind of where things kind of got sideways too when you started talking to them about wanting access to cannabis medicine. Is when you started kind of having problems with them.
Yeah, because like I was doing I was a nurse, so once I didn't feel safe, then I went in corrections, right? Then I got injured again. Because, I mean, it's not like I worked at Tim Hortons and I burnt myself on the coffee maker. And I'm not making light of anything like that. You know what I mean? But the professions that I had, I might as well have been one of those people that fling around on the... Really. Because both professions, I was going into their houses, so to speak, right? So we always had to be more alert than most.
Yeah.
It wasn't your regular environment, and until people work, they don't know. They just don't understand.
No, because you're working with mentally, mental health issues. You're working in law enforcement with people that are incarcerated and mental health issues.
There's substance,
and it's not the same. Exactly
things, so many things.
Right? Oh, yeah. And nobody's in there, and anybody who's detoxing or having mental health issues, we don't give the people that work with them enough credit.
No,
because it's a dangerous job. Like it's dangerous because there's no repercussion.
The unit I worked on corrections, my last injury, there was 8 women. I think there was 4 women on each side or 5 women on each side. We were the furthest responding point from the institution, and I was the only officer in the building. There was me and the behavioral counselor. That was it. And the behavioral counselor wasn't security trained, so I was it. I taught PE, I did programming, I did case management, and security.
Do you know offhand if any of these concerns that you've had have changed anything? Has anything been changed?
Once I ran the gamut of medications. Some worked, some didn't. Some were gabapentin made my legs blow up like crazy. I had to cut my bracelet off one day.
No, but did anything in the institutions change with all these complaints and everything that you've been through?
No,
has anything changed in those institutions? Or are these institutions still running in the same capacity that they were running?
Well, a couple of years ago, they had roundtable sessions, right? Because they wanted to hear our concerns, because they wanted to make change. because I was doing what I'm doing now. And
Exactly.
I was contacting the premier, I was contacting MLAs. I'm saying this is not right. And they had roundtable sessions, and I had my 10-minute or 4-minute, 5-minute speak at the roundtable session. And I stood there literally in a tank top and a pair of leggings. And that was in 2023. And I told them I had their own paperwork in the hand. They couldn't even understand how I got it. But all these sessions they had around the province, even in the evening sessions, they wanted to know what our concerns were. And the three main concerns out of almost every meeting they had was lack of empathy from workers' comp, harassment by workers' comp, and treatment by case managers. That was not one thing that was even brought up. And
what about the fact that they're not doing any extra security or hiring extra staff at these places, which puts the staff in danger right from the get-go? Like, I mean, if you're working by yourself in an institute like that, and you got all these hats that you're wearing and you're in this institution by yourself, you said you were the only person on the unit at the time, you're in a unit with 25 other people that have issues, whatever their issues were.
10. I think there was 10. But
still 10 to 1. You're 10 to 1.
Yeah.
Because behavioral counselors is basically told to, if shit goes sideways, to just go in the office and lock the doors and call.
Well, yeah, that's all.
Well, what if you don't get to the office?
Or what if somebody gets in that office behind you? Like, I mean, this just doesn't seem like any of the protocols that should be being used for a unit like that.
They weren't, and that's why I ended up in this position as well, because then my employer tried to deny that the injury even happened, because behavioral counselor was behind 2 sets of locked doors in the bathroom, didn't tell me they were going there. So, to my knowledge, they were on the unit.
Mm-hmm.
My God.
It
just seems like a lack of. It just seems negligence.
Yeah.
On the institution, it seems like negligence by the unions. It just seems like negligence by the employer.
All around.
Now, what? Okay, you mentioned that the inmate hit you with the chair, got you in the back and on the top of the head. What's the actual? Is there an actual diagnosis for what they say the injury is?
They didn't accept the diagnosis until 2010.
And I'm wondering
after injury too, right? Like she was injured twice. So she was first injured in 2006 and re-injured again a second time, and they didn't accept either diagnosis till 2010.
And they tried to combine both injuries into one claim.
Okay, and they as compensation people. But as far as what are the doctors
they're telling them, but what station's going?
That's the problem. And then you add the cannabis medicine to it, and the fact that they will cover all the treatments and all this, that, everything else except the cannabis.
I know.
And then they did for a bit, and then they told her that you tell us, like, because I don't want to get this wrong, but they were allowing a certain amount, and then they cut it back to a certain amount, and then would cover a certain amount. So kind of like the same thing they do with the veterans, like, market price $850 cut back to $650, same type of thing, right? So that's what you know what I mean? Like, there's so many things that intricately from 2006, which is 20 years ago, by the way, everybody. That's 20 fucking years ago.
20 years,
yeah. Dealing with this.
Yeah.
And anybody that knows me, and my doctor even said, she said once, because I ran the gamut of meds, I did. I jumped through the hoops. And then once he put me on Nabalone, and Nabalone worked kind of, but not really. And I was having some issues with that. So that's
so some people may know Nabalone is a synthetic THC.
Yeah. So that workers' comp had no problem covering. So he switched me to
pharmaceutical.
He switched me to cannabis. That's when, and I was nervous because I worked for the government. Even though I wasn't going to be able, I was never going to be able to go to work in that capacity again. I still could have worked in parole. I still could have had some. They could have still had, like, there was no undue hardship there. I mean, 20 years later, I'm still I think
But
I'm
again, this is also lacks the fact too that you have lack access to doctors and medical care too.
yeah, because I had to move
So
back.
systematically, you have like where she worked institutionally systematically broken down. Then she's got WCB that's kind of like broken down. Then the lack of health care in Nova Scotia, which has also led to this. So there's like so many systematic like levels of neglect on this, but at the end of the day, it's all based at the government of Nova Scotia's feet. Like this isn't a federal. This is a and
Yeah,
Halifax.
it's provincial.
Like this
Correct. It's
is
provincial.
sitting right at the base of the government of Nova Scotia's feet, even WCB. Like that's not even a federal thing. I'm not trying to differentiate, but I am. This is all government. And the thing is, WCB is not. WCB is regulated by the government, but it's a private insurance company, and that's what I think a lot of people don't understand. Is that you're fighting a private insurance company, and all the government does is regulate them. They can't tell them to do anything. It's the same type of thing. But then at the end of the day, healthcare is part of government regulation.
Well,
right?
get this. I can go to the liquor store and pay $140 for. I'm trying to. It's over there, but I'm too sore to get it right now. It's called Big Bag of Buds, and it's ultra.
Yeah.
It's about
Al
140.
Rap gets that.
$140 because sour diesel is the strain. I went 36 months without a headache on sour diesel.
Oh wow! And
I
where's
put on
and
20 pounds.
has the access to sour diesel been eliminated for you?
Yeah, because at the time when I was approved, they didn't have a policy. I set the precedent. I don't know. And then all of a sudden, right after that, they come out with this ridiculous 9% THC cap at 4 grams and stuck with it. And I'm like, you can't get 9% at the liquor store.
9%? They capped
Yeah, like they've limited, like, I mean, she can buy whatever she wants, but the only thing that they're going to cover financially for her is something that's not going to work for her.
Yeah, which is why,
Why buy it if it's not going to be effective for her to begin with? But again, like, why limit her to 9% THC when that doesn't even exist? Like, I don't even know if you can get a 9% THC strain.
Only
flat. Like,
limitation
on, like, then and like, what my understanding is I don't know, was it the doctor that put you on that 9%? Like, who put that limit on it?
My doctor's prescription is 8 grams a day with no limitation.
Right. So who put this 9% THC limitation on? Well, how the hell are they putting a cap on that? They don't even. That's ridiculous. They're not Health Canada. I would just tell them to get bent.
But they say they're following Health Canada policy. But I had a grow license from Health Canada for 8 grams a day, no issue. Same medical condition.
Yeah, but when it comes to the coverage, because when the average, the general average of the prescriptions that are signed that are directly the patients are dealing with the licensed producers and all that is usually around 3 grams.
But it's ridiculous to expect anybody to be able to go out and find something that's 0.09% THC. Like, I mean, the exact dosage that WCB is expecting her to get. That's ridiculous.
That is one. When my LP called the other day for asked me to put in an order, and the only 2 things available at my LP were a CBD strain with less than 1% THC and another strain that was only like 6%. And I think
that isn't gonna
CBD.
But that's not gonna help you either.
No.
Like, I don't understand how they can expect any of those limitations on. Like, I just that flabbergasts me. And I get the understanding of them covering it for cost wise.
I can get a pile of gummies, but imagine what my digestive system will be like.
Oh yeah. You got to eat a pile of gummies at 10 milligrams. Like,
to go down that road.
Yeah.
Well, even the capsules I think are higher in THC than that.
And I couldn't do. There were certain carrier oils I couldn't do because they really bothered my GI system.
I know of a product that's available that you can buy, and they do ship across Canada. Just so you know.
Yeah, but she wouldn't be able to have it covered if it's not from the legal
It
market.
wouldn't be covered. It wouldn't be covered by compensation.
That's what I mean. Like, and that's the whole point of this. The whole point is that she shouldn't have to have the 0.9% limitation or have it being covered by a legal market to have it covered by anybody. And that's the same with any patient. Like, we have this pharmacare from, you know, coming out for Canadians. They'll cover veterans, but they aren't going to cover anybody else, and they're not going to cover cannabis under the Canadian Pharma Act, which I think is crap too.
When I log into my LP, it shows me that I only have 2 products available to me. And then above it, it's the veterans, and there's 56.
Yeah, I know.
And I'm not like, you know, no shade to them.
No.
Pain is pain, and you know what I mean? Like I don't. And here's the kicker, Al, you're gonna love this one. Al's, remember, I don't know if I mentioned this, Tamara. Half of my I'm at 8 grams a day. That's why they're like, oh my God, I've been a patient since 2013.
Yeah.
So my opioid scripts have gone up. Everything else has gone up.
Oh, that's not good.
Oh yeah. I went through,
Not good at all.
Through Christmas, I went to pick up because we finally got them back on the NABL. They were still refusing to cover my They're still refusing to cover my cannabis. They increased it to 12%, and they still keep me at 4 grams a day, which still limits what I can access.
Yeah.
So when the LP called, I just said there's no point in putting an order in because I can't. There's not. It's a waste.
Well, it's
a waste of your money. It is. It's a waste of your money because if it's not going to effectively do anything to help you, just to keep a prescription.
Then why get it? Yeah.
Like, why waste your money? I'm sure you're going to smoke it. I'm sure you're going to ingest it, but it's still not going to do anything for you.
Normally, like when you throw not even thinking about the cannabis end of it at all, when you deal with workers' compensation, there's quite often that there's a doctor at their end. And even though whatever your doctor has decided, sometimes their doctor, they listen to what their doctor says.
Yeah.
So that's more than likely where that 9 million, the 9% THC comes from.
They increased it to 12 when I kicked up. What happened was I finally get in to see a neurologist after years of fighting. Finally get in to see the neurologist again. And he sent in a report, and the medical advisor there basically said, no, it has nothing to do with her injuries. She doesn't have this. She doesn't have this. And that was the end of that. And I'm what? So I filed a complaint with the College of Physicians. And within 48 hours, all that I did have PTSD. Imagine it took me this long. They admitted that I have PTSD and the trigeminal neuralgia and the occipital neuralgia. So that finally was in writing, and it was based on the same medical diagnosis that the first one denied it on. So it's literally like flipping a coin.
Yeah.
I know, it's ridiculous how they have these supposed physicians that have two different opinions on the same thing. One will tell you no, and the other one's telling you yeah.
Exactly.
Like how in the hell does that? How can they?
And the board will follow what theirs says. I see we got a comment. Jennifer's commented here that that's why we need cannabis consultants on family health teams.
Yep.
Yeah. So that they help educate the other end of things.
Yep.
But they're looking for people that all have medical. Like that's the thing that holds a lot of us back is non-medical training. Because, like I said, when you go and they don't. First of all, we checked on Monday, Cheryl and I again to see if Health Canada was recognized cannabis as medicine. Lo and behold, they're not. So, and again, Cheryl is going to do all this, this research and stuff for microgreens and stuff for Haley. Because Haley, it's like totally named. Like after the show, Haley and I had a conversation for 20 minutes while Cheryl was on the phone with the doctor. You couldn't have done that with Cheryl or with Haley 5 years ago. It's like a totally night and day, right? Again, thanks to cannabis juicing and microgreens, and it's the alkalinity that they're finding in the raw juice that's helped her. And again, whether it works for everybody, you have to try it and see.
Yeah, that's right,
right?
Exactly.
And see,
Exactly. But again, because Health Canada doesn't recognize cannabis as medicine,
they're big thing. It's, oh my God, 8 grams a day is a lot. And I'm like, hold on a second. Half of my 8 grams is THCA. I don't heat it. I don't.
There's no buzz to it.
No, it's preventive. So that's why since I've come back, I've deteriorated so badly too, because it was also preventing and treating at the same time.
Yep.
Because I once as a nurse and someone like a head for medicine and like all that, because if something new came on the unit, I'm like, oh, what's that? And if it had buttons and stuff, I was gone. I wanted to know what it was for. I wanted to know all about it. And I'm still up to date on all the latest medical stuff, just like I was going to work, because that's my jam. But when I ran the gamut and all of a sudden I tried the medical cannabis, it took me a little bit to find what worked and what didn't.
Yeah.
But I kept a journal and once I figured it all out, I'll tell you, it felt like for years I was trying to pound a square peg into a round hole. And then the round peg went into the round hole.
All right. Let's continue this conversation about cannabis when we get back from our break. All righty. We'll talk about how you consume it, all that stuff. Okay. We'll get into everything when we get back. You're watching the Pace Radio Show. We are live here with our guest, Melissa Ellsworth, and we'll be back in about, let's see. I hit the wrong button there, but we got 2 minutes, 3 minutes, somewhere right now.
We are people advocating cannabis education here at paceradio.net.
Limestone City Hydroponics is Kingston, Ontario's hydroponics shop. Take your growing to the next level and create the optimal environment with a tent kit, or maximize your yield with an ebb and flow flood table kit. Either way, Limestone City Hydroponics has more sizes and options to fit your needs. Are you looking for the power of the sun that adapts to your budget? Then look no further, as they have professional grow lighting. They have indoor grow systems that are easy and cost effective, with many options to fit your living space and lifestyle. Cultivate your growing potential. We have everything you need to succeed. And if you can't make it to the store, they offer local delivery to the greater Kingston area. Remember, when you're looking for experts to help you grow, then look no further than the locally owned Limestone City Hydroponics, 105 Sunderland Drive in Kingston, Ontario. Call them at 613-548-0420. Rerolled Saturdays. Check it out. Nothing but non-stop cannabis and psychedelic programming. Find it at 420pace.ca.
Enjoy the buzz of legalization with Campbellford Lifestyle Shop. From lights to plant nutrients, books, consumption accessories, and more, we've got all your basics to grow or consume cannabis. Visit our info center or take a look at our piercing services and body jewelry, now available in-store through Campbellford Lifestyle Shop, 17 Bridge Street West, Campbellford.
Are you looking to get your medical cannabis grow license? Limestone City Hydroponics can help patients through the process of obtaining their license to grow medical cannabis. What's that? You don't have a doctor? If you meet the medical criteria, Limestone City Hydroponics has a nurse practitioner who can assess and provide medical cannabis prescriptions. What are you waiting for? Contact Limestone City Hydroponics at limestonecityhydroponics.ca or call them at 613-548-0420.
Pace Radio is the People Advocating Cannabis Education Radio Network.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
And welcome back to the Pace Radio Show. We're live with our guest, Melissa Ellsworth. Melissa, just just before, as we went to a break, we got a message from your friend Leslie. See if it fits on the screen there. She says that you should not have to pay for out-of-pocket for any medication. Workers' Compensation Board would rather her take medications that she could get addicted to instead of paying for the prescription of cannabis that actually helps her. She's not even a third of the person she was. Cannabis is legal, and by the government that is allowing WCB to deny her proper health care.
Well, it's not just WCB. To be fair, it's the Canadian Medical Association, period. It's the doctors that are being directed by the College of Physicians in every province not to sign licensing for patients. It's Health Canada not recognizing cannabis as a medicine. So this is not something that WCB is doing, Leslie. This is something that the College of Physicians and the Canadian Medical Association has been doing to patients forever.
It's harm reduction too. It's all
yeah, big time. I've gone through my condition for 22 years now without any opiate prescriptions for my Crohn's disease. So yeah, cannabis is harm reduction for sure.
But again, too, like they don't want people with disabilities to live with any quality of life or in dignity in any way, shape, or form. Never mind financial stability.
And don't ever win a tribunal where something sets a precedent, or you know what I mean? Because at that point, you become a target.
Yeah.
Well, then you become problematic. You become so problematic that it's easier just to fucking make you look like you're not altogether on the right side of things.
Yeah.
And anybody that's connected to you also becomes targeted, right? Which is exact crap.
It's existential damage because my dad is beyond worried. Like Leslie said, I'm a third of the person that I was.
And your families watch this too. Like your mom and dad are there helping as much as they can, because let's be fair, they're not young anymore.
No.
You're as old as I am. My dad's gone. My mom's going to be 80, for God's sakes.
My parents are both gone. Just so you know, got another message for you, Melissa. This is from JJ O'Brien. She sends her love.
Oh, JJ. Oh, geez. Getting everybody today.
Thanks Kendra, everybody for coming in. Thanks everybody for coming along. Yeah.
Yes.
Yep. Kendra, Jennifer as well.
Yeah.
So now when it comes to your cannabis and your cannabis use, some people just prefer just to smoke joints.
No.
But some people, prefer to make tinctures, salves, edibles.
I just meant for me.
Pardon me?
I just meant for me. But for me, like I had a machine, and the machine had a no heat option. And I used the no heat option, and I would make oil and that would end up THCA because it wouldn't be heated.
No heated.
Yeah. So I'd have that. And anybody that knows the benefits of THCA. So then I'd have I'd have different strains that I
Why don't you explain to people what the benefits of THCA are? Because some people don't know what the benefits of THCA are. That's why we're here to educate. So explain what the benefits of THCA are.
We'd need an hour on that.
No, that's all right. We got time.
we have to be off the air by 11 your time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we don't have like an app, but again, because when you say, well, some people don't know.
Some people
don't
know.
It's if you have anything that ends in itis, if you're having some dysregulation stuff, seasonal affective, definitely. Acne was another one, because you can actually use the pulp. What I have done is I didn't have acne, but someone's son had acne, and they were of legal age, by the way, and they this at one time. Remember years ago, Accutane was huge. They even went that route
Yeah.
with their yeah. They ended up on antidepressants and everything. It was and then we went this route, and totally different person, just like they
Well, again, too, like a lot of
Mhm.
people will swear by a root compound. So when you're growing your own, you don't get rid of the root. You wash the root, you grind it up, you dry it up, you grind it up, and you can use that the same as you would use a CBD or CBH powder, right?
And if I could do that, I would. But I'm
Yeah.
disabled to the point now where I'm lucky I can feed myself, because that's
Yeah.
where they let it go to. And
And
here's the
that's
thing.
why, again, that's why people need to have people they can trust to be designated growers, so they don't have to use.
To Medivy Blue Cross on several occasions that I need an increase for chronic pain. We went from 5 to 6 to 7 to 8 grams. And then my doctor said, how about we try to keep you maybe a gram ahead, so that way if it takes you 2 years at a tribunal, which it was taken, then you wouldn't fall, you wouldn't have to play so much catch up, because it was playing the catch up for so long. Because I had to wait, there was times I had to wait 3-4 months just to get my script straightened out.
No. It's
They're
ridiculous.
still playing that game. They're still playing that game. They've been
That-
playing that game for fucking years.
I
10 weeks.
was almost
10
6
weeks.
months last time.
Yeah. So it was, and when you're relying on it for, like, I have no appetite, none. And it's a lot of it's due to stress. And where's the stress coming from?
Yeah.
I'm worried about my health, because as a nurse,
Exactly.
my body, and then every single thing, like I asked for my doctor requested a therapeutic tub for heat, at least, because they even denied the therapy. So she said, well,
Oh, really?
yeah, they said,
Oh, they've denied her.
everything, like I'm their beaten post.
You should have seen her house, the way they made, like they put her in an Airbnb. There was supposed to be some rentals on her house, and then they brought her back to her house when it was unfit for her to even be in that house,
Oh.
and still didn't fix the problem. This is another problem, WCB. Like there's like so much, we could be on here for 5 days.
And MLAs, Tim Houston knows who I am. Barb Adams, who was the justice minister, she knows who I am. But my issue is everybody I talk to say this is a civil thing, this is civil, but we can't get a lawyer. I can't get a lawyer to touch it.
No way.
The depth of it.
No, because it's WCB. WCB in any province, a lawyer won't touch.
They had a
Because
lawyer
it's private.
this summer to try to wrangle me in, but he didn't do a very good job of it.
Yeah, I know. I remember here in Ontario, it used to be. Well, it's been a while since I've ever been on it, but when I was on it many years ago, yeah, it was a pain in the butt dealing with them.
Yep.
Well, because they roll you over too, like, WCB lasts for so long, and if you got extended benefits, they'll roll you onto your extended benefits till they run out, so they don't have to be responsible for you. There's Alvin's been on WCB, like he's supposed to have, like he's got a permanent knee injury. They're supposed to, have a doctor check him every however many years to give him some sort of payout. Well, unless he contacts them, last time he contacted them, they said, unless you need a new knee, don't contact us.
Mm-hmm.
And then he does, but then they tell him he's got to lose a bunch of weight, blah, blah, blah. And they just fuck him around.
If I don't, like, they take a certain percentage of your monthly pension and they put it aside, because when you turn 65, your pension ends.
You're done. Yeah.
Yeah. They tell you to go on CPP.
Yeah, and I'm already on CPP, so I'm done.
You're on.
And
So you got the disability CPP?
Yeah, and
really?
I had to appeal it.
But compensation.
I said to them, "Do you know comp has me written off?" And they were like, "No." And I said, "The right hand needs to talk to the left hand."
Why are you on WCB? Like, why are you on CPP? You should just be on disability. WCB disability.
Well, I'm on both. I'm on both. Oh. But I was already on WCB disability. And then I applied. They kept telling me to apply for CPP.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because then they could claw back what they're having to pay you. right?
Yeah.
So do they claw back what you get from CPP off your WCB? Yeah, they claw it back.
And they take a certain percentage of my monthly pension and they put it into one of their sketchy funds. And then when I turn 65, that I get that payout. So mine should be around 47,000. But I'm not going to live till I'm 65 and I have no dependents. So they get to keep that.
No, you should have fucking something written up so it's given to charity.
Yeah.
They have it. There's a bunch of changes they made last September that some of their stuff is basically law now.
Yeah, because you haven't received it, so you can't give it. You can't give it as far as I have.
How many years till you're 65?
9.
Fuck. Can't we just like scoop you along till that?
I know.
And then you can at least give it to the neighbor's cat or something.
I know.
I'm just kidding. You know, I love you.
Who didn't have dependents and they got to keep their money. So if that's 4 and the average is 50 grand, that's $200,000 just for 4 people.
Yeah.
Like that's almost incentive.
Well, they do. They just, like I said, they're a private insurance company. They don't want to pay you out. And if they can pocket the cash, put it back into their fund, all the power to them. That's their profit.
And when my injury at the jail happened, I basically gave them the union letter that said that, no, this is the employer's fault. And they asked what it had to do with my injuries. I said, everything. So my employer kind of was sketchy. And then Comp allowed them to be sketchy. Because my employer was the federal government. I was a provincial employee and a federal employee. Because I was provincial as a nurse and a federal corrections officer.
You should have pensions from both of them too, no?
They were bouncing me back and forth until the labor thing ran out. Because Sean Fraser didn't know the difference between provincial and federal labor when I was contacting him when I lived up there. Like me and the ombudsman go back to 2015. We're on a first name basis, even though nothing's being done. We're still on a first name basis.
But your tribunal set the precedent for other patients being able to be covered for medical cannabis.
Well, I also changed the law on sexual harassment back in 1995 to include a couple of things too. So, yeah,
right.
This is not my first rodeo.
No, it doesn't sound like it. When you get on a first name basis with a lot of politicians, then it's not your first time. So.
But I mean, for her to have to be on the first name basis and have her quality of life be disrupted like this.
Yeah.
It's just not, it's not.
For them to sick 5 women from workers' compensation on me at one time, like they legit did. The director, I had 2 case managers at me. I had people I didn't even know. They were accusing me of doing a bunch of stuff I didn't do. I was like, what?
Well, this stuff is like it's all in the doctor's reports.
Yeah.
So I started making what they were doing public, saying you're making us look bad. And I'm like, no, I'm just making the truth public. That's it. That's all.
Yeah.
They didn't say nothing to tell me that I couldn't tell the truth.
No.
Because that's the bottom line. There's no reason why she would have to fucking not tell the truth. She didn't
provide the truth. I always, Tamara, you know, I always provide the receipts. Always.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah,
and that's the
because there is so much skepticism.
It's not defamation if it's true, and that's a fact, right?
Yeah.
If you're coming out with facts, it doesn't matter who you go. If it's fact, it's fact.
Like, are they accusing? Do they ever accuse your doctors of being misleading to them?
No.
No, they just had their doctors deny everything.
Their doctor. Yes, back to their doctor again.
They call them,
and then that doctor denies this doctor, and blah blah blah. It goes back and forth, which takes time.
Because I even contacted the Department of Health and said, like, is this a public safety issue when the medical advisors at workers' compensation are calling the community physicians and specialists? Because I'm seeing the specialists people when they're calling like our top people incompetent.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was even doing that because I was just like my as a nurse, knowing what my responsibilities were, and then as a federal corrections officer, knowing the laws and human rights, because that
Right.
was drilled into our heads like the tattooed on our eyelids. No joke. So we that's why, and that's the infuriating part, is that I know the difference.
Mm.
And
Right.
like Conroy and all those guys and Smith and everybody come, plowing through. You think by now there'd be some semblance of something.
Yeah. You think by now Health Canada would recognize cannabis as a medicine.
At
But
least
yeah.
5,000 and 30,000 and fucking research papers that come out on a monthly basis, but they always need more research.
Yeah.
What my last tribunal, I self-represented. I
Did
did.
you?
Yeah, I self-represented, and it cost me almost $75 to mail in my stuff, like I did it
Mhm.
all. Yeah, I had it all, and workers' comp did not even submit one piece of paper.
They just like
They don't think they have to. They don't think they have to do anything. They
Yeah.
expect people to give up.
Yeah.
They probably didn't even say, they don't even send people in there because they don't expect people to go. They don't expect people to show. They expect people to just go, well, you're not, I'm done fighting. And then they met her.
It's also part of the abuse and the coercion and all that other stuff. So it's all hand in hand.
It's ridiculous.
We got another message, another tribute to you. You can't see them because probably. Do you see this?
I'm the bat without my glasses.
Yeah, okay, good. That's why I'm reading them to you. I figured you were sitting back too. Okay, this one here comes from Cheryl Lynn. You disappeared. So I'll just read it off.
Okay.
She says, I love and appreciate Melissa so much. She saved my life. She helped me when I had no answers, no clues what was happening to me, no help from doctors, no hope, really. She helped me find answers, find a way to get diagnosed, and started me on the proper dosing of the best made unicorn medicine. Seeing her unending struggle just to live and get the help she needs and deserves is so heartbreaking. She has the biggest heart for helping others, and she is by far the strongest person I know. And she says, love you.
Love you.
Kendra says you're a warrior.
Yeah,
Right.
she is. She was going to walk across Nova Scotia. Like this crazy.
You're going to walk across Nova Scotia?
Yeah, she was going to walk across Nova Scotia. Like, you can't do this. Like, you weigh 30 pounds. Like, you're not even fit physically. And she's like, I'm going to go. I'm going to do this anyways. You can't stop me. And she was going to do it. And then she decided that maybe she wasn't going to do it. But she wanted to. Her heart's in it.
Handle it. I would have fell apart like a skeleton. Like a what?
Well,
like
that's because you're
skeleton.
sicker, right? But again, like, I'm like, you have, like, I mean, Jen Collette will attest to this because Jen did this too. Jen did walk across part of Ontario trying to raise awareness for cannabis education at one time. And Jen will attest to how hard that was. And I'm looking at you, and I'm like, I love you, but you know how hard that's going to be. And you're like, no,
yeah, that would be.
I did have lots of help. Like,
I know, yeah. But again, like, she says, if I don't have people, I'm just going to drive my Jeep and do it by myself. Like, if I'm across the country, I'm like, fuck, I can't even go out there.
Maybe would it, I guess walking across would help try to create awareness versus trying to do something that they might think is unruly, like occupying an office.
Well,
I think occupying an office sounds really good.
They had me labeled crazy and uncooperative and difficult. And actually, one of my tribunals said I'm the most difficult case they've ever had. That's exactly.
That's because you're standing up for yourself.
Yeah.
And they don't expect that.
When you
sometimes some people get attention by, protesting in a way of, standing out in front of an office
Yeah.
with some type of sign or something
It's like
along that.
Wrangle feral cats. We tried that too. It is.
Yeah.
He's
Being vocal, take a microphone and a blowhorn or whatever.
I got a pink bullhorn.
Yeah.
I even had Tim Houston rapping when he did remember when he copied Eminem? If you had one chance, if you had one opportunity, I recorded that on there, and I was going to walk across in front of the workers' comp building playing that over and over all day. No, showed up.
You've already thought about that.
I trust me. I was 10 minutes away, and we were ready. We were signs. We even had a skeleton to put together. We were gonna, because there's a graveyard ironically across the street from the building, and we were gonna put the skeleton in the corner and hang around its neck. First responders waiting for help from WCB.
Yeah.
I would have put a skeleton waiting for Tim Houston to do his job.
Yeah. And
he's the one who's always.
I put that right on the front doorstep. With him sitting on the step, with the skeleton sitting on the step with a sign that says, "Me just sitting here waiting for Tim Houston to do his job."
He told us he was going to, he told medical cannabis patients, because I was in the room, he said that he was going to keep dispensaries. He did.
He did. He fucking did. And he's been trying to fucking take it. He took the Big Ma and fucking shut their fucking dispensaries down. He had them loading them on fucking backs of goddamn flatbeds. Well, they won that court case though. They actually won their right to get that. They won.
Yeah.
It was common. And I used to work for the NSLC, and I'll tell you right now, that's where the target landed on my back, because I was sexually harassed by my manager.
Oh.
And I filed a claim because my union wanted me to, because they said it happens a lot. It needs to be dealt with. That set a precedent. That changed the law, and that put a target on my back, because even up until 2022, 2023, and anybody can go to my YouTube channel, because there's recorded phone calls with a director where she says, "But Melissa, your PTSD is from a sexual harassment." That was work related too.
Mm-hmm.
And never mind, after that happening, me getting my life together, going back to school, becoming an LPN, and then going on and then becoming a federal corrections officer. Like, if they were that worried about that, if that affected me that bad, I wouldn't have been able to go on to learn, to consume all that. Especially if you've ever had to know law and criminal code and parole, the difference in inside days and outside days, and that alone is confusing. But like all that stuff, but they threw that in my face and up until 2022, 2023. So it really makes you wonder, like, what came first? The egg, right?
Yeah, you'll start blaming the patient.
Yeah. Well, I'm difficult. It's
yeah.
This is me, and it's
you're problematic.
Yeah, to them you're resisting.
Yeah. It's like so disheartening, because it's not even it's not just one story. This isn't just a one story one-off. This is continual from one end of the country to the other end of the country. It doesn't matter what province it is in. You hear about people coming across the same issues. And like I said, with the federal government coming up with this pharmacare medicine, to cover pharmaceuticals, why is cannabis not in that realm? Like, they're, insulin, yes, I totally, like, that's a life-saving. But again, when they start introducing different levels, like they're, again, CPTSD, which also we have a lot of service people, frontline workers, a lot of people that struggle with this. Cannabis should be covered by the Canadian Pharmacare. That's just.
It'd be great if it was, but.
Never mind, that you have to go and buy it through a licensed producer. As long as you got a receipt from the legal store, that should be all that you fucking require. Because we wanted access, right? And access for some people is the store around the corner. Not having to wait 6 days for the guy in fucking Victoria to send it to you in the mail, and if the mail goes on strike, blah, 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 blah. So the instability and the insecurity of that. which causes
Weird.
stress.
Buying it from the NSLC and then in the receipt and saying, no, we don't cover that because that's recreational.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Again,
yeah, exactly.
the only time that they don't, so they don't recognize cannabis as medicine anyway. So the only time that they actually do decipher between medical and recreational is when you take the licensing to sell it.
Yeah, that's it.
So they've got to pick a lane.
Yeah, pick a lane.
Yeah.
And
Well, they've
pick
had
a lane.
20 some odd years now of a legal program to collect all the information that they need on the medical.
Almost 30
thing. Yeah.
The Section 56 is, if you go back to like the first Section 56 that was actually basically given in 1996.
Mhm.
We're going on 30 fucking years. Never mind 20.
Mhm.
Yeah. All righty. I see it's the top of the hour. I see we got ourselves another message. We'll get to it when we get back after the break. You're watching the Pace Radio Show. We are live here at paceradio.net and 420pace.ca.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
Campbellford Lifestyle Shop. Open Monday to Friday from 10 till 7 p.m. or by chance. Check out our flags, our t-shirts, plus our hats. And look of that supply of rolling papers, plus much more. We've got bongs and your favorite herbal vaporizers. Look at all the incense we have, as well as for those who collect knives, check out these knives in our collection. And while you're here, stop in to see Shay at the piercing room, where you can get poked by Shay. Daily deals, check them out. Campbellford Lifestyle Shop, 17 Bridge Street West, Campbellford, Ontario.
What do you find at paceradio.net? People advocating cannabis education.
Limestone City Hydroponics is Kingston, Ontario's hydroponics shop. Take your growing to the next level and create the optimal environment with a tent kit, or maximize your yield with an ebb and flow flood table kit. Either way, Limestone City Hydroponics has more sizes and options to fit your needs. Are you looking for the power of the sun that adapts to your budget? Then look no further, as they have professional grow lighting. They have indoor grow systems that are easy and cost effective, with many options to fit your living space and lifestyle. Cultivate your growing potential. We have everything you need to succeed. And if you can't make it to the store, they offer local delivery to the greater Kingston area. Remember, when you're looking for experts to help you grow, then look no further than the locally owned Limestone City Hydroponics, 105 Sunderland Drive in Kingston, Ontario. Call them at 613-548-0420. Rerolled Saturdays. Check it out. Nothing but non-stop cannabis and psychedelic programming. Find it at 420pace.ca.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
All right, you're live with Pace Radio Show, and we got Melissa dealing with her phone there. You got it straightened around? Good stuff.
Oh.
All right. We're live here with our guests, Melissa Ellsworth. And Melissa, as I mentioned before the break, we got a message, and we got another one during the break due to your last comment, and you told them get in the right lane, and Jennifer agrees. Pick a lane is right. Yeah. And Leslie says, yeah. Leslie says, I like this interaction with our viewers, giving messages to our guests. It's always nice. So
Yeah.
Leslie says it's all about the money. Nova Scotia is the highest tax province in Canada. That they make cannabis legal, but make it difficult for those who really need access to it. I've been asking Melissa what I can do for her, and at this point in her life, I will fight tooth and nail to keep her earthside.
I agree with that one. I agree with that one. And the thing of it is, like, too, like, I'm not sure what your recreational work is like, but we have been given the medical access, but no medical dispensing, right? Like, there's nowhere.
Right. Well, mail order.
One. Where is that one, Al?
Well, sometimes you can't get it because the post office is on strike or something's
No,
going
but where's
on.
the one actual storefront that they do have?
Oh, there is no.
I'm
Well, okay,
storefront.
there was. Okay, yes, Ottawa. There was a store in Ottawa that was licensed, and it did give cannabis to patients. Gee, it's been a while since I've heard anything about them. I forgot all about them. Yeah,
and again,
yeah.
so
I don't know.
medical cannabis access is still at a fucking all-time zero.
Basically, yeah.
Like, I don't care about the post office. I don't care about having to order it online. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about being able to go into a store in your town and have the ability to buy a brownie that's not 10 milligrams. That's this big.
Yeah, like let's say, like,
you can buy brownies. You can't buy baking in the legal stores. You can buy a caramel. Okay, the caramel is like 10 milligrams. There's one caramel in the package, and it's literally this big. Right?
And why not allow? If they're worried about all the security and so on and so forth when it comes to cannabis and all that stuff, if they have stores right now that we can go into, they're like Guardian Drugstore, Rexall Drugstore, whatever, Pharmasafe, and you go into them and you walk past all these aisles with all these different things that they're selling, and what do? You walk to the back where there's an area where they dispense medication. Why can they not have? If they want all the cannabis in one store, why do they not have a section to allow them to dispense medical cannabis?
Shoppers Drug Mart make a great big stink? I believe they did. Shoppers Drug Mart made a great big stink about taking over the medical part of the the Cannabis Act when it first became legal in 2019. In 2019. And again, like, here we are, and then it was all about this. Well, it's the children and the smell and the people that it's going to bring into the store, and so again, the stigma that was attached to it because they didn't want patchouli tea to dead stigma. What about the children? This is why it never ended up in Shoppers Drug Mart. Okay, like, that's just let's be real here. And then when they realized 5 years later that the sky hadn't fucking fallen, and we had this other whatever came out that we had, what was it, a 5-year? What the fuck do you call those?
The review?
Yeah. That's it. My brain.
Yeah, they had the task force review thing that was guaranteed after 5 years, but it took a bit. Yeah.
Yeah, and then they wanted to review to see if there'd be any increase in dosing for the edibles that they declined.
Yeah, they threw that.
But again, they put these things out. They don't give it out to the general population. 650 people do the survey, and this is what they go off of. 650 people.
And most of the people.
Are you goddamn kidding me?
Yeah. Well, question 5.2 of that survey asked if the brick and mortar stores could replace the medical access program.
And then exactly, and 650 people showed up for the game to say, "Hey, man, whoa, we still need that medical access." Because if people wouldn't have showed up to the game at all, they were talking about taking gardens and stuff away again too. Because if there's no legal need for medical cannabis, then there's no need for anybody to be able to grow it either. So the domino effect that happens if we lose that right and that ability,
it's like pulling the
four plants. Oh my God! Like I've said before, they're ripping people off on that too because 5 to 1 gram is a patient. So you're allowed to grow a gram of cannabis. It's.
What were you saying, Melissa? You were saying something.
Like pulling the thread on a sweater.
Yeah.
No, you find a loose thread on the sweater and you start pulling, and the next thing you know, half your sweater's gone. That happens.
Yeah. Yes.
So where are you at when it comes to? You got your treatment tomorrow, right? You do your infusions once a week? Once a month?
I put them off. I had to put them off last week because I was in rough shape because I was going through opioid and Nabilone withdrawal over the holidays.
Nabilone withdrawal.
Because they didn't cover because my intent was to come off of opioids. That's why they put me on the Navajo,
Mm-hmm.
but they only covered it for 3 months.
Oh.
Everything
So then
else,
you should be still continuing with the Navalon, be off the opioids by the time the 3 months were up, and then just continue on with the Navalon, which should have warded off did the harm reduction for any further discomfort from the opioids.
yeah.
But if Navalon shouldn't have to be weaned off of because it's
Well,
cannabinoid, so why would
that's what I went. What Navon? What I didn't. Yeah, I
yeah, why
wasn't
would you
thinking.
need to wean off Navalon? It's cannabinoid based. There should be no withdrawal or no side effect from that.
I
And if there is, why and what is it?
wasn't so much the Navalone. It was, I think it was the opioids. It
The
was
opioids. Yeah.
opioids, but the not having the Navalone to fall back on
Yeah.
was just, yeah.
Yeah. Well, you're trying to
I
get off of the
yeah,
opioids. You got to have the other, and if you don't have it, then
yeah. I lost 5 pounds in 3 days.
yeah.
Yeah. And I'm now like tomorrow I got my infusions and I'm trying to pound what I can into me. Like I'm back up again. Like I did
Mhm.
put on a couple of pounds and I'm trying to eat but I like it's hard to have an appetite when you're stressed out like this
Mhm. Now
and
these
you're in pain.
these infusions. I've been getting infusions for close to 20 years as far as medical, medicine end of things.
Mm.
Do you go into a clinic or does somebody come to your place
No,
to do?
I go to a pain clinic at the Northside Hospital, Northside General,
Mm-hmm.
and they have like a couple of nurses there. We had a great doctor. He relocated to Ontario, and
Mm.
then we had to get a guy. We had a really hard time trying to find a doctor to replace him because we almost lost that pain clinic. Because when in 2022, I had to leave where I was living up in Nova Scotia, up on the mainland, and move back to Cape Breton because in 3 years trying to pay for my own medication like really put me in a hole. So before things started coming at me like unpaid, before that stress added to what I
Mhm.
was already fighting with comp, I filed for consolidation because I had to. And then I sold my house and had to move back home. And at that time, there was a housing crisis. I mean, you trying to find a house,
Yeah, good luck.
selling in 2-3 days.
Oh yeah, everything was flying off the wall.
It was.
So, are your infusions for are they a pain med?
I get lidocaine, and I started off I think at like 320 or something, or maybe 340. But since I lost weight, they had to lower the dose because dose goes
Mm,
according to weight. But
correct.
they did add a small like amount of ketamine, I think like 2 milligrams or something. That
Mm-hmm.
kind of offsets the pain a bit and kind of helps with it kind of drags the lidocaine out a little bit, if that makes any sense.
Right.
Yeah,
Gives
I
me a little bit of quality of life.
yeah. Well, that's the goal too, eh? Is
Like
give
I'm
you
literally living from Thursday to Thursday.
yeah. So you get these once a week,
Yeah, every week.
every week. Does it
That's
take
what
you? It takes you what? Does it take them half an hour, an hour?
it's about a half an hour drive. My dad drives me.
Yeah, but as far as the infusions,
Oh, the infusions, they're usually about an hour 15 minutes, but
yeah,
I think an hour and a half.
yeah, okay, yeah, that's about mine were. My original infusions for my medication was 3 hours.
Yeah. And depending, because some people get magnesium and stuff too, right? But
Right.
with me it's just the lidocaine and ketamine. But if like say if I'm like really stressed, or because at one point when I was at the Airbnb, I was leaving there coming to my dad's house, dropping off the dog. My dad we were driving in there, so like it was like gong show from 7 a.m. on. and my appointment wasn't until 11. And I mean,
Yeah.
I'm going to get an infusion. So just, yeah.
Yeah, and then you got to arrange. Well, your dad's got to take you every week.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And then, like, he's a caretaker of my mom.
Mm,
Like, I didn't come home to add to be a burden to him at
right.
all. Because
Yeah.
I've never ever.
Especially when you've been on the independent. Like you said, you had your own house.
Yeah. And the whole point of, like, Nova Scotia, like, Tim Houston apologized to the disabled people in Nova Scotia, like, a year ago or 2 years ago, saying that, that not enough has been done, not enough is being done, and whatever. And I mean, I've sent him emails of what's going on. Like, I've saved a woman's life, and not that makes a difference, but, like, it's like one time you had people beating on pots and pans at 5 o'clock for us.
Mm,
You did.
Yeah.
yeah.
And leave your all the port, like, all that, like, and nothing.
Yeah.
And I'm seeing, like, video commercials on YouTube from the states that are, like, representing Nova, like, looking for, like, intake, doing recruitment for healthcare workers and stuff, and they're making it look like it's Oz. And I'm like, like, and they're harping on the free healthcare and all this stuff, and I'm thinking, yeah, it's all good and great till you get at work, then you're done. And if you're not from here, then you're a burden. So sayonara. Like, I really don't know, and I can't pinpoint it on one government because I've been doing this since 2006.
You're correct. Yeah, you've had to deal with several governments of different stripes
but
all the way through.
This is the worst, because, like, this has been the worst, because even at one time I could file a FOIPOP and get information that I was talked about during a meeting in a very, very negative light, where now I got to jump through hoops, set myself on fire, and then get 25 firemen and put me out before I can even find the paperwork to fill out.
Are you finding it's the privacy laws that have been, supposed to be protecting us have actually made it so that it's harder for us to get the information that's required?
My privacy.
And when did you find the difference?
My privacy, medical privacy, has been breached on 2 occasions that I know of. And both times, internal investigations were done and no wrongdoing was found. But yet I was.
And this is since Tim Houston's government has come in.
No, this was before that.
Beforehand too.
Yeah, but
so anything at the healthcare level, like, so when did healthcare start really, like, diving? How many years do you think it started diving in Nova Scotia?
Oh,
it's been 20 years. So 20 years since you were injured, right? In 2016. So was it 20, 30, 40? Like, how many years do we want to go back?
I graduated as an LPN in 1997, and we were the first class to graduate with medication administration, IV infusion therapy, and there was something else we had, foot care, I think, something added on, that the RNs had as responsibility, because they had just closed down. They closed the nursing school at St. Rita's. They were just closing down the nursing school at City. So it was Dal or nothing, or Dal
That's
or
exactly,
nothing.
Yeah. That's what I was going to say. Like, there was a time when registered nurses were doing everything, and LPNs and stuff were just, like, basically doing bedpans and stuff. And then the RNs figured that they were doing too much. And then it was pushed down, and they pushed it on to the LPNs to do medication and IV insertion and that, so that the RNs didn't have to do that, because all of a sudden the RNs were going to be nurse practitioners too. So doors open to actually ease up the system. What it actually did was to burden. They worked for a while.
Were overworked, but when they just took some of the load off them and then gave it to us, which was good, because it opened up a whole new world for me.
Yeah, we use a nurse practitioner.
But again, like I said, it kind of took the burden off too because we had such a lack of doctors.
That's why our clinic here in town.
Right. So they opened the doors up so that the LPNs could do more registered nursing, so registered nurses could go on to be more, to kind of ease the system up. But at the end of the day, it was lacking. It didn't fill the gaps where they expected it to for as many people, right?
Wasn't that here in Nova Scotia though? In Nova Scotia, people were leaving and going to the States.
That happened in the 90s too. Yeah.
That
was even before that. That was in the early 90s.
Yeah. I lost a doctor, a family doctor that way.
Yeah, I did. My gynecologist went to the States. She was pregnant with my oldest daughter. That was 92. But again, like that's not so much lacking. Like this has got nothing to do with the cannabis. Like the cannabis. Here's my fucking point on that too. Like these doctors that we're bringing up and bringing now are starting to become a little more educated on the cannabis medical end of things, even without the direction of Health Canada or the college and physicians. Because I've heard it with my own ears, where I've heard other doctors say we tried edibles first before, even my own doctor's kind of eased up on it. She's not going to put her name on the license because, you can go to the store and get 30 grams. Why would I give you, Again, whatever the fucking college and physicians have told them, it's irrelevant. The fact of the matter is we still have fallen through the gaps, and people like Melissa are even in a worse situation than even we are without the lack of care because of the lack of ability for financial aid. Never mind that she's got to order from the mail and blah, blah, blah. And they don't even have what she's able, what she needs.
Yeah, part of the problem, whether you're even dealing with it from a store or from an LP, is the fact that the LP just stops producing it. Might work great for you, but if you're only one of 3 buyers, they're not going to produce it, right?
They don't have sour diesel. So it's like going to the drugstore and saying, okay, I need my, Ativan filled or whatever. And then saying, oh, we don't have Ativan, but will you take clonazepam?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
See,
I agree.
When I started researching, I did use my farmer brain. And that's what I did. I kind of did strains that way, and I was mind blown that they didn't teach this in medical school. In the hell, I was more mad. I was mad. Hell,
they don't have any conception about CBDs. They don't know that we have a cannabinoid system in our bodies. They don't even recognize that. They do when they're talking about breast milk.
Yeah.
But not about anything else. They will tell you that there's cannabinoids in your breast milk.
I know somebody who, within the last 2 years, became a nurse, and during their training, they only had one little thing on cannabis. They had to write up something about it, but it wasn't much of a course or anything. It was more like a mention.
Yeah. Was it about cannabis, whatever syndrome? To be able to see the heart, cannabis,
the CHS, the cannabis.
Dysphoria syndrome or whatever the fuck they're called.
Correct. Well, they've got a new name for it. Cannabis hymesis syndrome is not scary enough.
Another fucking fancy name for fucking Ukrainian.
It's scromining or something now.
Scromining. It sounds.
You know what
it
is?
It's scarier.
Abdominal migraine. It's an abdominal migraine because we have serotonin system in our gut too.
I knew that, but that's ridiculous. That's the most ridiculous shit I ever heard in my life.
Scromining.
Okay, I'm not going to dispute people have allergies to medications.
But now they'll create it.
It's not for everybody. It's not. I'm going to tuck the horns back in. But again, that's what I mean. It's not for everybody. I get that.
No, it's not. Cheeseburgers aren't for everybody either. I can't eat cheeseburgers.
No.
Everybody's different. Everybody has different body chemistry. And
that just boils me. But they come up with this. It's almost like saying that, I don't even want to say it. It's just gaslighting. So it almost puts it out there you could have this, the packaging side effects are blah, 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 but no expiry date.
No.
Okay. So you can't fucking figure out an expiry date for the cannabis in the package, but you got all these side effects, keep it out of reach of children, and all this crap on it, which is propaganda. And here's the thing, we've been lied to about cannabis for how many decades, and fucking God knows what else.
because they were stigmatizing it before it became illegal. So
Yeah.
They've been
You gotta
stigmatizing
stay
everything
hungry.
that's not on the agenda.
yeah,
And they can't make money off a plant you can grow yourself.
no, you
They are
can't.
now. They can again, she
They
went
can
on
they
off.
they
Money.
they can't patent the plant, but they can patent processes and final products.
Yeah. But you can't make money off healthy people either.
Well, they are.
There's no
But
money.
here's the thing.
No money in
Here's the thing. All
cures.
that taxation that the Nova Scotia government's making off that cannabis, where is it going?
I'd like to know.
So here we now did a little fucking looky-loo on because the federal government does keep a portion, but what portion they've been given, or the 25% the federal government keeps, goes to advertising and public health and safety, like those fucking
Save the kids
safety
promos and
and
stuff.
safety little pamphlets, just garbage they could be not bother wasting their money on, but they do, right? The other 75% goes to the provincial governments.
It's funny because
Where the money?
100%.
BC just says, "Oh, we put it back into the everything else," and I'm
Slush
going,
fund.
"That's pretty funny." I don't see that.
I'm trying to figure out how workers' comp went from being broke to 106% funded, and I think you just figured.
Right? Subsidized by governments, yet they're going broke, and they can't afford to pay for anybody's medicine because they're broke.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
Yeah.
Now, have you tried? I don't know. Have you tried a designated grower that could grow sour diesel for you?
No, I haven't even.
Like, do you even know anybody could even?
I don't even know anybody here.
Yeah, because for years there, when I was doing all
was
that
away
stuff,
for
that
20
was sometimes the hardest thing to do was to find a designated grower because there was lots of
At one
patients who
point, it was a little
couldn't
easier.
grow, but
No, I was away for 20 years. I just came back. I only moved back here in 2022.
And again, though,
Yeah.
too, like now that there's no commodity to it because they're not paying for it, nobody's
Yeah.
growing it, and patients
Well,
aren't
yeah.
like they're before they were lining up to be designated growers, right? They lining up. People were like all over. I'll take it, grow. I'll take it. Especially if you had a one with some numbers to it. But now people don't. You can't give your license away.
Yeah.
Yeah, these days, yeah, I know it's all changed. So
And you're not able to grow it yourself either, which is super
no,
unfortunate.
she's not. No, exactly. That's
Not
why.
able.
That's why I mentioned the designated grower end of things.
No, it's my main function is to keep, because my body's 86, but I took such good care of myself that my metabolism is like I'm 42. So even just to get through the day, I need at least 1,100 calories. Basement.
Yeah.
Like paper and like all the benefits when you read on the benefits.
Have you tried juicing? Have you tried drinking juice? Have you tried juicing cannabis?
When I had a couple of plants this summer, and when I was doing the fan leaves and stuff, that's what I was doing juicing, and it was helping, but like that's only good for so long, right?
Right.
Well, you can make it into ice cubes, right? You can store it in your freezer.
I did that, but
I'm just saying, like, I know that Cheryl's, like I said, working really hard with the research for microgreens. And microgreens, like, the biggest thing with that right now is trying to be able to maintain the 1-141 exemption for research and not have Haley have her licensing because she can't have both, right? So she can't go for Haley medically and then still have the research licensing for the microgreens, even though she's been approved for the research, right? And has, like, it's a really complicated, and Health Canada couldn't wrap their head around the plant count because they're not plants, right? Like
they're not.
Well, they're not. They are, because then the thing is, like, health. Well, the thing is with Health Canada, as soon as it's got 2 leaves on it, that's a plant. That's considered one plant. So if you need 10,000 a month,
I know
there's no way in hell Health Canada can wrap their fucking head around the fact that you need a licensing for that many grams per day to be able to produce that many microgreens and then try to access that many seeds.
Well, I used to do broccoli seeds, like the sprouts in the
jar.
Yeah,
that's the same thing.
I can only imagine how many, like for the caraphyllene or whatever, But I can't imagine the scales.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing, and they don't have a calculation. When Cheryl was on the show on Monday, the calculation to wrap their head around what they need. Health Canada was putting her back over here and over there, and they did like they're all going like, we don't know what to do with this. So then Cheryl pretty much did the calculation for them, and they're like, oh my god, we'll get back to you because that's like way like over the limit, right? Meanwhile, she's got 3 doctors all signed off on it because then they're trying to. She sent them
and a university.
trying to explain to them like it's not a room, it's a tray. Like the tray's this big. Like this is what I want to produce. And she sent them a picture of the exact like what they look like microgreens and a little, you know, the 5 by whatever 3 by 2 tray that you make that you grow microgreens on. Okay, that's what she sent them, and showed them pictures, and they're like, couldn't wrap their head around what she was trying to explain.
Because it was
fields and fields and fields of microgreens. She's gonna have like a tray, like.
Yep. The more information you give them, the more mind-boggling they are.
Yeah.
They're just boggled. Absolutely.
Anyway,
I'm fighting people I'm fighting against don't know the difference between THCA and THC.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, fetch me a child of 5.
Well, that's the difference between heating it and not heating it. Jackass. That's as easy as that.
Don't decarboxylate it. You're good to go.
High and not high.
Don't smoke it. Don't put no heat to it. You're good. You put it in your mouth, and it's just like nothing.
Since I've become a patient, I can count on one hand the times where I was like high. Seriously, because I take CBD too.
Oh yeah.
So
again, I don't think it's that hard to conceive or understand. I think they just are not willing to.
No,
they just don't. There's no will. There's just no will.
There's no will to educate. Like I as an injured worker, it's my responsibility to do everything in my power to take the best care of myself that I can.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
So, and that's what I'm trying to do. But every time I'm trying to do it, it's like being in an abusive relationship, and it's the abuser that's putting up the roadblocks, and I get there, and then it's the abuser is actually calm. Like it's really messed up. And I'm watching other people walk through with prescriptions for like 8, 9, 10 a day. No problem.
And it's only good because of the WCB attachment to this whole fucking mess.
Well, it's WCP injured workers as well that I helped, that used when I set the precedent, when I won my claim in 2018 or my tribunal.
Yeah.
A lot of people after that used my decision to win theirs.
Yeah, because it set the precedent.
We had to stop fighting with you over what your access and what your.
And then that's when the hammer came down. Yeah.
You opened the floodgate.
What's that?
You opened the floodgate.
I think I already did that 20 some years ago.
Yeah.
But walked away and just left it as it was because it didn't bother me, I guess.
I see we're down at the bottom of the hour. Have you got anything else that you would like to say? Anything along the line of, shout out time, so you can look at it that way.
I want to thank you guys, because if you guys, I wouldn't be here. And for Tamara, because you always got my 6, and Kendra and everybody in the live. I knew there was going to be some people coming in that weren't sure how to get here, so I made sure he's got here, and I'm glad you showed up. And there'll probably be more views tomorrow, because a lot of people, Wednesday was an odd night for them, and not a problem, and they were glad they could go back and watch later on.
That's the nice thing about the podcast, is that people that maybe they're at work or they have other plans, but they can always catch it later. So
they can listen to it on audio podcast too.
Correct.
I just want to say to anybody that's watching too, if you're on TikTok, her handle's Saltier Mutter, and she has a lot of good information on her TikTok page as well that you can go back and catch on. And she does lives, and we'll update you on her stuff on TikTok as well. So this isn't the end of Melissa's journey. just this is the start again. Because when she's feeling better, like this is when we gotta go, right? When she's not feeling so good, it's like anybody, right? We go when we can, and when we can't, we don't. So, well, today she's feeling like she could go. We're going.
I'm hearing beeping. What's going? Where's?
Yeah, it's my phone, and I'm not sure exactly what in the actual
Okay.
heck is going on, or who it is actually. Because like, I guess I'll find out. It's my daughter.
Okay, because I'm not playing any sound effects. Where's that coming from?
I was wondering.
It's my daughter. I'll get back to her when I'm done. Yeah, she's anyway.
All right. So if anybody wants to, talk to you, they can just find you on Facebook.
Yeah, and reach out. And I really wish that Health Canada and the workers' compensation system, because when I spoke to the lawyer in the summer, he said there was a meeting in Saskatoon and that cannabis was a hot item on their list, because I kept asking for a copy of their latest because it's updated so often you can't keep up with it. So I never ever got that. So I just hope that they get this together, because if they don't, a 56-year-old woman shouldn't be suffering like this over a plant and have to take medications that she asked in 2019 to be signed off on in case she became addicted to or any issues to, and no one would even do that.
Who's Riggs?
That's Riggs. That's me.
That's you? Okay. Wendy says, nice job. Nicely done, Riggs.
Thanks, Riz. That's Rizzo.
Again, like these things all roll back on to, the lack of the systems that we're living in within the provinces within where we live, right? And again, the only way you can stand up is to have a support network. Like it seems like you're like it's working, and you got to keep on them because they expect you to give up. They expected us to give up on cannabis too. They expected us to walk away. They expected us not to keep banging on about it, and we didn't. And like I said, what we've got is not perfect by any stretch of the means.
No.
Medical patients
but it's
totally left out of this whole thing, rolled into the Cannabis Act. I'm not saying there are a few, like I said, we're not looking over our shoulders. When nobody's getting arrested for a joint. There are some, positives to this negative. But again, we as patients fought to get medical recognition for a reason, to be distinctly different from the recreational market. And they still don't do that. So we still have a lot of work to do. And I keep saying this, and we don't have any direction because, like you said, it's like herding feral cats.
If there's any cannabis lawyers out there, any lawyers out there looking for a slam shut civil case that like you can retire on, and probably your grandkids too for the rest of your life, gives a shout.
Right. And so you can find Melissa Ellsworth on Facebook. Just send her a message.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else before I sign us out?
Nothing.
Okay.
Thanks for coming on the show, hon.
Thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks everybody for tuning in.
Hey, just a reminder to let everybody know that we will be back next week, Tamara and I, anyways. And you can. I'd like to thank our sponsors, the friendly and helpful folks at At-Eze.ca, Limestone City Hydroponics.ca, as well as the Campbellford Lifestyle Shop. As I said, thanks, Melissa, for coming on the program and sharing your story. And thanks to you, Tamara, as well. Plus, as always, thank you.
One more thing. Allison Murden's my guest for Cannabis and Coffee on Monday. So join me live on Monday morning at 12 Mountain Standard Time with a long-time advocate, Allison Murden. And thanks for everything.
Yeah. All right, other than that, we will see you all next week. Thank you and good night. Let's share PACE everywhere. That way it can help create peace. People everywhere advocating cannabis education.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.